asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today is the second session of our Bhakti Yoga retreat, and we are going to concentrate today on the means to bhakti, the most important thing. Okay? The means and methods we employ in bhakti sadhana in order to generate higher states of bhakti and bhav in the human mind. So a lot of psychology is there. See, the points are very simple, but when you repeat something in the mind, yesterday we discussed this, they become sanskars. Any vritti you repeat, any action you repeat, it will become a sanskar in your mind. So when we do, repetition is called sadhana. When you do something again and again and again and again, now you generate the bhakti sanskar. So this is paramount importance in bhakti yoga. If the bhakti sanskar is not there, bhakti will just very, very small and rare states of you feel good about devotion. That kind of thing will happen. This is the reason why people don't build bhakti, because everyday practice is not there. So the bhakti sanskar has to be generated through repetition of certain things which Swamiji is going to tell us. I'm going to read out from Vivekananda's Bhakti Yoga. But before that, let me quote one saying of Thakur, Sri Ramakrishna, about bhakti. He used to say, Vyakulata is the way to realize God. No matter what means and methods we employ, unless that deep inner yearning is there for the higher goal, for God, that Vyakulata, if it is there, everything else is taken care of. He used to give many examples on this. If Vyakulata is not there, then any method you employ, you see the fundamental driving force is not there. So then it won't fructify. So if bhakti has to blossom forth spontaneously in the human heart, every day you are immersed in deep devotion to God, you find your peace and your everything in fact there. And day by day it only grows. See, the sign of real bhakti is it will never diminish. Love of God is like that. Once you get the taste of that sweetness, you won't lose the taste. So for that, the main means Thakur used to say is Vyakulata. So how to bring this about? Sri Ramakrishna, when he was asked how to bring it about, he would say, weep for God. Tears shed in His name will wipe out the dirt of so many lifetimes which we have gathered. And then the magnet will draw the iron filing to itself. God's love is always there in the human heart, divine love. It is covered up with many things. So when we weep for God, when we are vyakul, restless for the divine, then that mud which is blocking that divine attraction is washed off. So he used to say, pray with tears and you will get God realization. See, such simple words, but so profound. This is the actual truth about bhakti, the life in bhakti. Heartfelt prayer, utter purity of mind, and vyakulata. In vyakulata, whatever you tell him, he will listen. Yes. And if that vyakulata is not there, you may read hymns after hymns and do lot of parayan. He only knows whether it reaches him or not. But you pray with tears in your eyes, immediately he will respond. He can't resist that. There's a beautiful incident in Sri Ramakrishna's life, which I would like to tell you here. It is actually so touching. This actually happened when Sri Ramakrishna had gone to Kolkata once. He used to go in the carriage. He had gone to Kali Ghat, the Divine Mother's temple there, Mother Kali's temple. That's a Shakti Peeth. So Sri Ramakrishna visited that temple and now he's coming back to Dakshineshwar in a carriage. On the way, there is a Geratala mosque. I don't know if some of you have seen it. So, Khane, as Sri Ramakrishna was passing there, he heard the loud cries of a fakir who was praying to the divine in the mosque. Loudly, he was praying, Pyare aa jao, Pyare aa jao. Huh? And the tone of his voice, the intense yearning in his voice it at once struck Sri Ramakrishna's ears. And actually, the fakir was shedding tears and praying. Pyare aa jao, mere paas aa jao, like that he was praying. At once, Sri Ramakrishna jumped down from the carriage, and Tir Vege, it is written in Bangla, which means like an arrow, he sped towards the mosque. See, the carriage driver must be thinking, what is happening? But Shira, this is what happened. He entered the mosque and raced to that fakir and went and embraced him. And both of them are now shedding tears. And Sri Ramakrishna understood the pathos and the intense feeling in the fakir's heart. It pulled him. See, God is pulled by yearning alone. Your formal prayers and whatever else we do, formality, that is just the Vaidhi aspect, the injunction based aspect. It's good to discipline yourself that way, but the actual thing is the yearning of the heart. So, this beautiful incident has been captured and it is there in Chaitananandji Maharaj's books. Hmm? God races towards him who prays with yearning. And if that yearning is not there, kichui holona. No matter what you do, with utter sincerity, if you pray, there will be response. And he will do what is best for you. You know this for certain. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, God hears the bells. If you put some bells on the feet of an ant, still he will hear that also when it walks. He hears everything. Only thing is that Vyakulata should be there. So you see, the way to progress in spiritual life, there are definite ways. In fact, you will see the lives of saints and sages, no formalities. It was all just deep yearning for God. Sri Ramakrishna's own life, wonderful illustration, isn't it? So see how you can build this Vyakulata.
He hears the footfalls of it.
He hears the footfalls of an ant. Everything else is secondary. Any other means is secondary. Please remember. Hmm? Now we will read from Swamiji's Bhakti Yoga, where you will see Swami Vivekananda is outlining the means. It is on page 55 of Bhakti Yoga of Swami Vivekananda. Just go there. I'm going to the right to the beginning, page 55, the method and the means of bhakti. In regard to the method and the means of Bhakti Yoga, we read in the commentary of Bhagwan Ramanuja on the Vedanta Sutras, the attaining of that comes through discrimination, controlling the passions, practice, sacrificial work, purity, strength, and suppression of excessive joy. Now, see, each one is important. Think about it and see. Discrimination here, it means, as you know, philosophical discernment. Vivek, what we say. So this discrimination is something required of a sadhak. Ability to clearly discern what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong, what is purifying, what is polluting, what will help me grow, and what will not help me grow. This discernment should be there. Yesterday we tried to make this discernment between mundane love and divine love, right? Hmm? The very nature of mundane love is it is binding. There will be attachment, and it is inspired by some passion, some biological need, some kind of physiological emotion, but not divine love. Divine love, it's a transcendental need. It arises from the tranquil human heart, which is saturated with divine bhav. And the driving force for this kind of love is the refined pranic energy, which means no compromising of vital energies, a disciplined life. You see, now this is what Swamiji is going to tell us. Control of the senses, control of the passions. Without this, it is not possible. That bhav will not come in the mind. You remember this, the actual taste of bhakti is in this divine rasa. It comes when you have the divine bhav in your mind. That bhav will not be generated if there are too many worldly bhavs dominating there. That is why the bhakta needs to be careful. All this, that is why is part of bhakti yoga. That I told you, achar, maryada should be there. We will go into that later. All niyam, nishtha should be there. And as he says here, discernment, clear discernment, controlling the passions. You can't live a haphazard life and expect the highest bhakti. Please know this, unless life is sattvic, you won't even feel the need for higher bhakti. Yes, many decades of our lives we spend in, a kind of restless excitability mode, inspired by all sorts of things. Only when a little bhakti comes into our heart, we will understand how I have been wasting my time. How precious is this human life, the vital energy I hold, the human intellect, and the luminosity of the self. All this is to be dedicated at the feet of the Lord. Instead of doing that, I compromised all of this and gave it to the world. World means not that you shouldn't give it to the world. The idea is don't waste it on something which doesn't befit you. Yes, simply getting restless about something, excited about something. All that should be avoided. This is what he's saying. Turn these energies towards the divine, and you see how it will transform everything in your life. So, you see, the next one is practice, he says. Without practice, the bhakti sanskar will not build up. Whatever you want to gain, you please see this in your life. Long term gains, you have always practiced towards them. So, shouldn't then sadhana become part of our life when our aim is God? Huh? So, practice is the next important thing, he says. Then, sacrificial work, nishkam seva. That is the best way to purify the mind. If nishkam seva is there, automatically the groundwork is done. And seva is proof of bhakti. Seva. In you go to Vrindavan and all, there will always be one seva kunj along with the main temple. So the Lord is placed there, he is worshipped there, and in the seva kunj, he's actually treated like a human being. All kinds of seva are offered. Seva goes along with bhakti. As you keep serving him, doting on him, visualizing him, constantly thinking of him, bhakti will grow. Now check and see, do we do this at least a few months in a year? Do we live like this? See, many of you are retirement age, isn't it? You have time at hand. This is how it is to be utilized. Then only the bhakti vritti will keep on growing. The bhakti sanskar will become solid. You put the bija, you keep watering, it will grow into a huge tree. One day you will see life is suffused with deep inner bliss, the bliss of devotion. This sanskar will not go, it carries on for lifetimes. So that is why practice, solid practice should be there. And sacrificial work, nishkam seva should be there. Whatever your job has been, whatever you have been trained to do, your career, whatever it has been about, after retirement, suppose you have been a teacher, many of you are educators here. At least every month, 5 students you teach for free. 5 or 10 students teach for free. Give voluntary service somewhere. You're a doctor, at least 10 patients per month. You serve for free. Do this. This is Nishkam Seva. Whatever you are doing, see that society benefits. You are able to contribute hugely to society through your particular niche, profession, whatever you are trained in. Seva is not just about giving money or some physical form of worship. Anything that you own, you share it with others. Give it for free, and you see how you'll grow in bhakti. And here, uh, by seva is also meant actual service of the deity. This is also important. See, once we start cultivating devotion, You will see every day if you spend some time serving the deity. See, suppose you have a Bal Gopal, something you offer every day. Offer an arti. At least those 15 minutes, half an hour, you are engaged with the divine. Your bhakti vrittis are getting created. Hmm? 50 years back, the distraction of internet and all that was not there. Free time means going to the simply browsing something or gaming, all this nonsense was not there. Free time means parayan or chanting or japa or more puja. This was how they spent their time. This is important to create the bhakti vrittis. Otherwise, we will become insensitive after some time. Simply flitting from one thing to the other, gathering information. What do you get by that? Rather, deepen life by deepening devotion. I told you, love is life. If there's no love, there's no life. So, deepen your devotional life through these practices. Seva towards the deity. Install something in your puja room and some deity whom you adore, whom you can fully love, and do some form of seva every day. In our mutt missions, you might have seen. There is puja every morning. You collect flowers right in the morning after your meditation and chanting. You collect flowers, then you do the chandan. Then at least a panchopchar or a dashopchar will be there. You cut fruits and all that. So whole morning till about 10 o'clock, your mind is engaged in the divine. And you're offering it through the puja, one by one. He's sitting and eating. The bhav generated by this continuous practice is something exceptional. You won't get it in any other way. Engagement with the divine. That is the purpose of seva. So, do this in your life. Don't waste even a single day. See, a spiritual aspirant will not waste a single second. There's no time to waste. What vrittis you create in your mind, they are your only treasure, I'm telling you. Your sanskars, your vrittis, and your karma phal. This is the only thing that is going to go with you. Anything else is going to go? Anything else? Wealth, children, home, jewelry, nothing will go. Your sanskars, your karma phal, your vrittis. So where should you invest? Tell me. Huh? Long-term investment should be there in all this, isn't it? This alone will go with us, please remember. So create it. This is your mool dhan, capital. Yes. According to this capital, the soul finds its way, even after death. If this is not there, capital only is not there, what are you going to do? So you see. Next, he says purity. Hmm. This is very crucial factor for the simple reason if you don't keep body and mind pure, the highly elevated bhakti bhav cannot arise. This is all bhav sadhana. If the bhav is mixed, the rasas also will be mixed. If the bhav is pure, the rasa will be pure. Actual, riveting devotion to the divine will arise. And it is swadu swadu pade pade. Every moment it increases. Pratikshana vardhamanam it is called in Vaishnava Shastras. Every second it increases. A life in bhakti is the most intelligent and blessed life. And those sanskars will you carry on. See, bhakti is the greatest, most transforming power of your life. Please understand. It's a liberating power to your mind. No other mukti is required if bhakti is there. Transforming, purifying, liberating experience. The highest experience of life is bhakti. So don't compromise on this. Samsara is always, it has its own ways. Once you don't have much to do with it, immediately you should plunge into this, isn't it? Plunge into it. Thakur kotobar bolte doob dao. Yes, every saint will tell you this only. Don't waste your time anymore. Awake, arise. Do this. Do what is required to be done in human life. The only goal of human life is the realization of God. Then he says, strength. Great, see, to practice bhakti, great mental strength is required. Great emotional intelligence is required. Only a bhakta can remain, at peace with his emotional life, with his mind. The rest are all messing up. Yes. A problem, or worrying about this. Yesterday we talked about cognitive distortions. This is how they waste their time. I don't want to go into that again, but the life of the bhakta, I told you, pratikshana vardhamanam. Joy increases every moment. Swadu swadu pade pade. Mm. That is why Thakur used to say, I don't want to become sugar, I want to taste sugar. It is like that. Sweeter than sweetness. Hmm? Mind should be clear, pure, and then this bhakti bhav, and then the rasas will arise by themselves. Bhakti bhav is the foundation for all these divine rasas. So don't make a mistake about this. If you're truly intelligent, you'll know this is the sar vastu, essence of life. Hmm. So develop your mental strength, higher intelligence, emotional intelligence, all this. And suppression of excessive joy. This is also, see, this excitability mode and excessive mirth, this should be put down in the life of bhakti. You are simply excited about nothing. Much ado about nothing, they say, no, in English. This is what we are doing with samsara. Simply following this one, following that one. Or excited this moment, then next moment depressed. All these unstable states of mind, shake them off. Doesn't befit us. The sadhak is very steady, absolutely steady mentally and strong, which means what? Nothing shakes you. Nothing can shake you. And there's no excessive, any kind of emotion expressed because you are guarding your inner life. You're guarding your inner life, you're guarding your love. Don't waste it anymore, I'm telling you. The more we give time and thought to unnecessary things, worries and anger, and simply interacting with somebody just because you can't keep quiet, you are losing on vital energy. Shakti Ropachoy. It is waste of the divine energy which has been given for the realization of God. Now, entire focus should be on God realization. Bhakti is a direct way for the bhakta. Please know this. Because there is a ocean of love in our heart. If you don't focus it on God, it will fall somewhere else in bits and pieces. So now once God has become the reality, we have understood that this is a possibility, invest in that. This is the whole thing Swamiji is trying to say. You see, then he gives very many clues in his explanations to these points. I would like to mention, first of all, he says how we discussed yesterday, ahar should be pure. And ahar is not just food. See, we gave a lot of emphasis on food in the past. Sattvic food should be there. Definitely it should be there, no doubt. But ahar also includes all that you take through the senses. Keep that good and healthy and pure. Otherwise, bhakti vritti will not arise. Some silly vritti will arise and pull you down. Then controlling the passions, and Swamiji says this self-restraint, self-denial, just because you are building your life in bhakti, this should be there. The bhakta by nature is very humble, self-effacing. Why? His aim is God. Yes, he will not simply, yes. Be really intelligent. The bhakta is the most intelligent species on the planet, I'm telling you. He is the one who eats the cake as well as has it. Actually speaking, humility means unself consciousness. You are functioning in such a way that the life in bhakti grows. Then in purity also, you see, Swamiji says, he enumerates certain points. Satya should be there, truth, truthfulness, arjava, sincerity, complete commitment to this life. You know what happens even in the family when you are committed to a life in devotion, everybody will understand and keep their distance. They won't bother you much, don't worry. They know different type, this is different type. So become of that different type, and gradually they will absorb it. Children, grandchildren, they will absorb gradually. But be different. So this sincerity should show in our actions, thoughts, behaviors. Then daya, doing good to others without any gain to oneself. All this is part of bhakti sadhana. See, that heart with which you will feel for others, same heart you are giving God. A heart which doesn't feel here, how will it feel for God? So Thakur used to remember this: compassion, kindness, these are the highest values of humanity. So on an everyday basis, exercise them. Don't be cold, indifferent, critical. Such minds fall. You should know this. Only a very kind mind can raise other minds. So compassion, you can exercise it in your own way by what you're doing. Doctors are the best people who can exercise this. So much of service on this value. See, in Buddhism also this features prime compassion, the Buddha heart, they say. Without this, you can't progress in spiritual life. Compassion will express as empathy also, which means any situation you put yourself in those shoes and actually feel what that person is feeling. Then your action, your thought, your emotion, everything will go out there in help, in service. So, this is required for building bhakti. A compassionate heart will develop great bhakti. Then he says ahimsa, which means, Vivekananda's observation is so perfect. Ahimsa, we are not going to go, poking or harming others, but mentally you can harm others. So Swamiji used to say the proof of ahimsa is the absence of jealousy, absence of comparison. Nothing of this kind of negativity is there in the mind. Huh? Take note of this. Mentally also, no harming others. I'm literally telling you, the critical judgmental attitude will drag the mind down. Such people in no time get into all sorts of depression, negativity. If you can't raise life, at least don't condemn it. So, in our thought, word, deed, only that which will help, that which will, help life to blossom fully, only that is to be exercised. I am very frank, I am very straight. No such justification works here. Please know this. I have to say what is right. So the bhakta is very kind at heart. There's this beautiful story. Uh, there was a sadhu sitting at a particular place under a tree in meditation, and suddenly one man came running to him and said, "They are chasing me thinking I have robbed, but I haven't. But I can't convince them. Help me." And the sadhu pointed in one direction. The person ran away there. He's not a thief, but the police are after him. After 15 minutes, the police arrived there and said, "Did you see this particular person like this running away?" He said, he showed that way. And the police went away there. And this one was saved. Now, another man who was watching this entire thing said, "You know very well you sent him this way, but you pointed that way. Sadhu should not lie. And sadhu should not give a wrong picture. Is this right what you said?" And the sadhu said, "See, helping even a single man, if I can help even a single man," and Vivekananda also said this, "I will consider my life blessed." So don't give all kinds of wrong justifications to negative actions. That which will help life blossom forth fully, that is a good action. Swamiji used to say, no, may I be born again and again and suffer thousands of miseries so that I may worship the only God I believe in. My God, the wicked. My God, the dejected, distressed. And my God, who is the sum total of all souls. This is the only God I believe in, he would say. Whole life dedicated to helping human. See, this is not just humanitarianism. It has a huge Vedantic element. Oneself is reflecting in so many bodies and minds. You should nurture and bring that self into full bloom. That is the purpose of seva. So mentally, physically, if I'm giving people food and water and mentally criticizing them, that will be no seva. Keep the mind utterly pure. A pure mind cannot even see negativity. And nurture every life around you, even if it's a plant, if it's an animal. Nurture life around you, and you see, ahimsa will be achieved. Then anabhidya, which means not coveting others' goods, others' wealth. Non-covetousness is this. It is important in spiritual life because uh, if we are greedy about something, we will not achieve bhakti. There are 6 enemies in human life which have to be put down. See, this has vanished from our cultural norms, but this is fundamental Indian culture. There are 6 enemies of man: Kam, Krodh, Mad, Lobh, Moha, Matsarya. Kam is lust, Krodh is anger, Mada is pride, false pride, and Lobh is greed. Kama, Krodh, Mada, Lobh, Moha is attachment and delusion, and Matsarya is jealousy. If these are there, bhakti cannot be developed. Because that bhakti bhav, positive bhav, will not come if this is dominating. So get rid of this first. This is what all this means. So, like this, beautiful points are there which you can go through when you are free. And as I told you, excessive excitement and mirth about something, much ado about nothing, is to be totally obliterated, removed from our life. You must be able to give things the respect they deserve. Then only you grow in bhakti and jnana. This vivek should be there. Simply wasting time on something and then regretting it. Let's get rid of all that. And then I also pointed out to a few things which I will again tell you here. See, when I told you achar and maryada are very important in social life, in family life. If this is not there, family values will not stay in place. If family values don't stay in place, your emotional intelligence will be compromised at every level. Most people are not able to aim at spiritual goals only because they suffer enormous emotional insecurities. Mind becomes totally unstable. That is why you must preserve these values. There's a way, there's a code of conduct within the family, in a society, and that has to be respected. It is not an imposition, it is the way you grow. Otherwise, there will be no difference between animal societies and human society. So, in your own language, learn to transmit this knowledge to the younger generation. Because if there is absolutely no achar and maryada, we will have real issues in society. Achar means our code of conduct. Let it be extremely decent and impeccable. Our behavior, our speech, our thoughts. Maryada means the limits to those codes of conduct are to be respected. We call Sri Ram Maryada Purushottam. Why? See how his behavior is towards each member of the family, outside the family, towards a friend, towards a foe. That is Maryada. Without this, bhakti life will not develop. Impeccable character. And the next 2 points are niyam and nishtha. Rules of bhakti life, bhakti yoga, are to be obeyed. Niyam kore. Yes, don't take it lightly. See, for the bhakta, all this is important. And nishtha, which means, yes, dedication. You're willing to invest energy and time. This has to be kept up for the sanskars to build up, bhakti sanskars. Then I told you upasana. Upasana means some form of practice, spiritual practice, whether it is prayer, japa. You can combine all of this also. Meditation, puja, parayana or chanting, pilgrimage. These have to be adopted as efficient means towards bhakti. See, when you perform even a simple puja, half an hour's engagement with divine. Isn't it a big thing? Tell me. Japa, huh? Constantly 1 hour you heard the divine name. Isn't it great? Learn to deepen life. Life is not about collecting all sorts of information. It is about deepening awareness. It is about generating these kind of elevated bhavs, bhakti vrittis. So invest in that. Upasana, those who don't do upasana, and there are many who are like that. Their upasana means listening to YouTube talks. Don't do this. That is just Shravan. Actually, you have to do the spiritual practice, meditation, sakar upasana, some such thing you have to cling to. Instead of going somewhere like a tourist, go on a pilgrimage, taking the name of God. You know, when you go to a temple, how do you go? Sach dhaj ke? No. You take something for worship and constantly thinking of that deity with the deity's name in your mouth. This is how you should go to a temple. When you go there, no doing puja and fast forward and running back. You do it slowly and sit in the temple. At least 15 minutes spent there. That is real divine company. Don't think temples are just architectural marvels. It's where the deity is enshrined. See, Brahman manifests in Sagun Sakar aspect through the deity in the temple. So pay it that respect. The bhakti vritti will automatically come. And pilgrimage, that's why going on pilgrimage is extremely purifying. But the way people go now, I really am amazed. When I was in Kedar, there was a group of youngsters who had come there, trekking, for them it was about trekking, not even about darshan. They didn't go for darshan also. Because the line was so long, they didn't go for darshan. And I said, kya kar rahe ho aap? Kedarnath mein aake, you don't want to do darshan? So this, if you go with this kind of mindset, you will get very little out of life, I'm telling you. These are all places of intense spiritual vibrations. You must know how to utilize it. Otherwise, who's the loser? Tell me. So take care of all this. So upasana means all of this. Something or the other has to be prime in our life, okay? You can combine all of this also. And most of all, satsang. Company of the really holy and spiritual souls. Nothing like satsang. They say tirthi kurvanti tirthani. That is the nature of saints. They give pilgrimage places the holiness which is there. So it's what happens is actually a powerful mind will affect a weak mind. Yes. And you will get those sanskars just by their presence. So never lose on. Shankaracharya puts it very beautifully. Satsangatve nissangatvam. Nissangatve nirmohatvam. Nirmohatve nischalatatvam. Nischalatatve jivan mukti. You understood, no? What it means? This is the sequence. Just holy company will get you everything. You check and see how your mind works here. And when you go back, you check and see. It matters a lot. So even if you can't get some Geruadhari, at least remaining in holy company, good people, positive vibrations, this is very important. And if this is not there in life, I'm telling you, there's nothing to it. They transform minds without even our knowing. They transform our sanskars and they inspire a great ideal. So as much as possible, keep to it. When we invite you for programs and all that, it's not that we want anything out of it. It's only that you must get the taste, the feel for holy company. The mind starts functioning differently in holy company. You should remember this, the saints and sages, their contribution to society is through all these subtle means. They change minds without our knowing it. Is there any other way to change the mind of your kid, you tell me? Not to speak of others. Your own family, you want to change somebody's mindset. There is no way you can change your child even. Only a great spiritual force can change minds and mindsets, sanskars. So then go out and get that. Reach out to that. Hmm. Yeah, then the next point which I wanted to tell is the bhakti bhav requires a fundamental change in our mindset, what is called dinata, which means extremely low profile person, very, very humble by nature, humility. It is actually called humility. I told you, humility is unself consciousness. If you are proud of your humility, it will vanish. Really, unself consciousness it is. If you function like that, you're humble, truly humble. And then, the real important bhavs of bhakti will emanate from you. Without humility, this will not happen. If you're constantly judgmental and critical, this bhakti will vanish. That's why I told you soft power is to be nurtured. Yes. All these soft emotions are important in bhakti yoga. Then we have this point I already told you, seva goes hand in hand with bhakti. There must be through body, mind, it is dedicated to, see, what purpose has our body, mind, tell me. You are the soul, but you are embodied, manifesting through a body and mind. What is the purpose of that body and mind? It is the service of the Lord. So see that it goes towards that. Otherwise, it will go somewhere else. Through willpower, through resolute will, you have to do all this. Because our mind will say yes here, tomorrow it will say no somewhere else. It is never sure of itself. That's why the sanskar build up and this willpower is required for doing bhakti sadhana. And then last is, of course, atma samarpan. Bhakti is about surrender, not assertion and domination and, yes, scrutinizing everything and analysis. It's not about all that. Bhakti is about love and surrender. Where there's love, there will be surrender. And the Lord tells us that He Himself surrenders to the bhakta in love. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. I take care of all my bhaktas' needs. Lord Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita. Yoga and kshema. Everything he needs in this life and his afterlife. I take care. Not take care, I carry to him whatever he requires. You know the story of this, Ananyas Chintayantamam? Some of you, but some of you don't know. Okay. Let me tell you this. This is a very beautiful, real story which happened long time back, sometime I think 15th, 16th century India. There was a Pandit called Arjunacharya in one of the villages in North India. And he was a Brahmin Pandit, so his job was conducting puja and rituals and reading out the scriptures in the evening to the villagers. And he would read out the Bhagavad Gita, expound it, all this he used to do. He had a very devoted wife, young girl, and completely devoted. In his own home, he had the worship of Lord Krishna. And so every day what he would do his spiritual practices, then he would do some cleaning up, all that, then he would go for his bath, then come back and do his puja, and then go out to do rituals in other homes. This was his routine. Now, one day, what happened was, before he went out to his bath, he was sitting with the Bhagavad Gita in front of him. And suddenly his eyes fell on this shloka, which I just now chanted: Ananyas chintayanto mam, ye jana paryupasate, tesham nityabhiyuktanam, yoga kshemam vahamyaham. What it means to say is, one who gives me his whole mind with undivided attention. Ananyas chintayanto mam, ye jana paryupasate. One who worships me thus. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam, to them who are thus completely joined to me in their consciousness. Through their devotion, I take care of all their needs. Lord Krishna is saying, I take care of their iha and parakal, they say, na? Yoga kshema means that. LIC also says yoga kshema. But the idea is योग, उनका जो spiritual development है, and क्षेम, the requirements of this life, both I take care of. Lord Krishna is saying this. They have borrowed from Gita only. LIC. So the point is this, that the Lord takes care of, and not just vahamyaha means I carry to him whatever he requires. Yoga and kshem. I carry. Now this Arjunacharya is reading this verse, and at once he thinks, why should the Lord carry? Huh? Why should he carry? He grants, he bestows. He should not carry. So what he did, he picked up that peacock feather and ink and struck out Vaham Yaham and wrote Dadam Yaham. Yes, it's his own interpretation. Okay. His wife saw it and she's supposed to have said, don't do this. These are the words of the Lord. It is gospel truth. It is Bhagavad Gita. It is not Bhagavad Gita. It is not about the Lord. It is the word of the Lord. You can't do this. But he said, you mind your own business. What do you understand? That male ego, na? So then he struck it out and yes, put Dadamyaham, and very satisfied with himself, he put his towel on his shoulder and went for his bath. Now the lady of the house, the wife, told him, but there's nothing at home. I can't cook anything today. There's nothing at home. See, there was no Brahmin who was rich in those days, you know. Brahmin itself means one given to extreme austerity and this thing and doing all the scriptures and all this, and they would remain poor. So she told him that there's nothing in the house, please bring something. So then he stomped away, okay, to the river. Now, after a few minutes, suddenly this lady heard flute sound, and very mellifluous, very beautiful, melodious flute is sounding somewhere. Then it's coming closer to her hut, and then she looked out and saw a very beautiful young boy, very beautiful, like charming, and with such a divine cherubic face, and he's coming with a basket on his head. And he's coming, and he came to her doorstep, and then he put the basket down, and when he bent down like that, she saw that there are 2 marks on his back, red, like, you know, blood stained marks. Then she told, at once she got so shaken, she said, my child, who beat you? He said, why, your husband? Then she said, what is all this? He said, he has sent this, but he beat you. He did this to your back. And he said, yes. And then she said, oh, come in, let me put this lape and let me do this. How could he be so mean? And my child, you come and sit here, let me feed you. From where are you? And how did you meet him, and how did he send all this? Then the child just said that, no, mother, I have to go now. I have some work at home, and just I came to deliver this. And then he forced himself out of the house, and before, she actually was clinging to him. Don't go now, don't go, eat something. Let me at least put something on your back. No, mother, I'll come again. This will just go, he said, and he ran away. Now this lady was simply wondering what is happening, and that child's smile and look she could not forget. Now after half an hour, this man came, the husband, Arjunacharya, and then he came and said, I finished my bath, let me again sit with my Gita. Then the lady said, "But you sent all this from where?" He said, "I didn't send anything." Then she said, "You even hit that boy. How could you hit such a tender child?" Huh? And there those stripes on his back. And he said, "I didn't hit anyone. I didn't do anything. I just went for my bath and I came back." Then this lady understood. She ran into the shrine, and she understood that her Ishtadevata only came in this form, and she broke down there. And even Arjunacharya went into the shrine, and then she told him, "But those red marks on his back, you struck out his words. That is the Lord himself who has come to teach us. You can't strike out the words of the Bhagavad Gita or the gospel. You cannot do that. They are the words of the Lord. Huh? You struck it out." So that was on his back. And Arjunacharya was so stunned and shocked by what he had done. He also broke down, repeatedly asked forgiveness. Then he quickly went and rubbed off that whatever he had done, and again asked forgiveness. See, the Lord has said, no, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. I carry whatever my devotee needs. She was such a great devotee, he had brought it on his head to show, I carry. I myself come. See, God comes into our lives in many ways we don't understand. In many ways, He comes and He gives us the lessons we require to learn. We must remain sensitive and humble. That's all. And He will come and bring to us what we require. Please know. So let this one pointed devotion to God be there in our lives. Never lose this. Just because we do Advait Vedant, you must never lose devotion to God, to the Sagun Sakar aspect. They are not contradictory. Okay, don't take a extremely logical stand and say it can either be this or that. See, somebody told Thakur, no, that is God with form or formless? Thakur said he is with form and formless and again beyond both. Your logical mind does not apply in any subjective experience. You should know this. See, please see the most important experiences of your life, love, awareness, happiness, are not logical. Logic is an instrument we have invented in order to solve certain physical and mathematical problems. You can't apply the same thing to every sphere of life. See, I'll give you a simple example here. When it comes to love, now your mother loves you 100%. She loves your brother also 100%. Now, if she gave you 100% love, it should diminish. And then how can she give a full 100% to your brother also? Again, guest comes into your house, again with 100% love, she's serving the guest also. To every family member, she's giving full love. But it never diminishes. In fact, love grows when it is given. Love goes against logic. Once given, it should diminish, no? It doesn't diminish, see. Love is illogical. Awareness is illogical. In fact, you should say illogical. Illogical means it goes beyond logic. It's neither logical nor illogical. It just doesn't fit into the framework of logic. So don't use your silly logic to understand all these things. The way of bhakti is the way of the heart, the way of divine love. Just focus on that and shake off this logical brain. You see, with all our logic, what level of satisfaction does it finally get you? We were also very logical at one point of time. But what level of satisfaction does it bring you? But love, it will fill your life with bliss. So understand this, everything has its place in life. Love, awareness are all illogical. They go beyond logic and illogic. They are not built for that framework. Just cultivate it through these simple means which the saints have given us. And it will be possible to realize God through in a simple, pure way, without too much of analysis and logic and all this. In fact, the simplest and the purest have attained him, attained him without any complications. Latu Maharaj's life you must have read, na? Simple shepherd boy, close disciple of Thakur, and what he attained. The simplicity doesn't mean, being a simpleton. It means the clarity of mind by just being, very grounded. If that you can generate, bhakti is very easy. Only such people get the highest. So all these complications of our minds, we should be able to clear, erase. This is the whole point in bhakti. Otherwise, ultimately, bhakti does not come. Hmm? Make the mind like a see. Then in Christianity, they say, no, you have to become like children to enter the kingdom of heaven. This is the thing. Becoming children doesn't mean childish behavior. It's childlike behavior. Simple, pure, clear, direct, like that. Huh? Then only higher levels of devotion and you will be able to sustain them. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Hmm? Bhakti vritti is such that once generated, it will dominate over everything else because it becomes your most precious experience of life. But if mind has complications, it will not come. That's the problem. So, these are the points which I wanted to share when it comes to means to bhakti sadhana. Each point is important. Huh? Day by day, as we go on building life of bhakti, what happens is mind becomes very, very, you can say, soft, sweet. This very mind becomes the greatest blessing of our life because on an everyday basis, you are experiencing sweet bhavs. Do you think your behavior can anytime be harsh or, careless, or it can never be? This very mind, you also interact with the world with this mind, isn't it? So that mind which is filled with God consciousness, devotion, can never be indifferent, harsh, a pain to others. It can never be like that. So you see, then our behaviors become so refined, so absolutely, you're absolutely reliable in every sense, that you will automatically do well everywhere. Bhakti trains the mind and gives you the highest possible what is called emotional intelligence, because it takes you simply beyond normal emotion. And this is the uniqueness of this yoga. You see, our emotional life is a dominant feature of most lives. So in spiritual life, you have to come to terms with it. You have to transform it. If you leave it out, I use only the analytical intellect, I leave out the emotion, then tomorrow it will impinge in your life in such a way you won't know how to handle it. Bhakti Yoga will transform all this. And emotional strength is a huge thing. A whole lot of our vital energy is invested in emotions. When you release those emotions completely, when they become devotion, you get tremendous mental strength. If you analyze a thought, let us analyze a thought so you understand this concept. One thought means there is an idea portion, there is usually an emotion, yes, bound up with the idea, and there is vital energy which expresses as the thought. You may think a thought is about knowing, but many times it is also about believing. It is also about memory. And the emotional aspect, if it's prominent, it's about, then you call it an emotion only, because it's a highly charged thought, charged with vital energy. Wherever there's emotion, it will leave its mark on your memory. So you see, they are powerful thoughts, emotional thoughts. Now, that is why the importance of transforming this level of energy. Hmm? Human life is about this. You remember this. After 50, always in the Vedic way of life, after 50, you invest only in the Vanaprastha ashram and transform your mind, make it fit for the higher goals of life. Still, if you are brooding and mourning about the family or doing something unnecessary, it's a sheer waste of vital energy. Lift the mind and rivet your focus now on these things. This is the way to transform life. Bhakti is a natural transformer. Every day, spend time with the divine. You can use bhajan, kirtan, all this. Listen only to devotional music. I told you, all of your senses. Give them good food. Mm. And shake off the old memories. Otherwise, it's difficult, I'm telling you. Hmm? You have to come to terms with your emotional life. This is very important. Otherwise, bhakti and all this, na, it's an occasional feeling, not like that. Every day, you can grow in bhakti day by day. You lay the proper foundation and you build bhakti, the life in bhakti. You will see, you'll be amazed at your own transformation. The very face changes, of bhaktas. It becomes so mellow and so attractive actually, because what happens is it is reflecting God. They are thinking of God constantly, something divine. It reflects that bhav. So bhakti goes to the very genes. Thakur used to say this: bhakti goes to the inner court of the house. He used to say this. Jnana can go only till the outer court. What it means to say is that a large part of you is your emotion. If you transform that, you transform your core. And that's why bhakti works like magic. Hmm? One more thing I will mention, and we will end the session for today. See, in Sri Ramakrishna's life, there is one incident which clearly shows knowledge can, pervert a person's mind if it is not properly digested. But bhakti will always transform for the better. This incident happened when there was a Pandit from Uttarpada, which is across Dakshineshwar. He comes to the Kali temple at Dakshineshwar. This happened in Sri Ramakrishna's time because he has heard of a Paramahamsa who lives in the Kali temple. Now he wants to check if he's a real Paramahamsa. Hmm. He's a Pandit, he knows too much. He all undigested knowledge. Okay. You see, if you know all the scriptures, but you never have had a first person experience of being, what is the point in knowing all the it will lead to this kind of arrogance. So he's come to find out if he's a real Paramahamsa. Hmm. This incident is so beautifully described in the books. Now he comes into Sri Ramakrishna's room, and Sri Ramakrishna is sitting with so many devotees. Hmm? And Sri Ramakrishna is in a higher state of, ecstatic state. He looks at him closely like this, and because he knows too much, no, now he's gauging with the knowledge he has in his head. Hmm? And then he suddenly his eyes fall on the cushion upon which Sri Ramakrishna was sort of leaning, hmm? A bolster kind of thing. He says, "Oh, a cushion for a Paramahamsa. Hmm? I have never seen anything like this." Then Sri Ramakrishna suddenly shows his shoes, points out to his shoes. And the Pandit says, "Oh, Etavache, shoes, you also use shoes. I have never heard of such a Paramahamsa." Then Sri Ramakrishna points to his coat. There was a green coat hanging there. And, oh, a Paramahamsa with a coat. You have seen that green coat, no? It's there in the museum, that thing. So he says, "Oh, a Paramahamsa with all this paraphernalia around him. And I've never seen anything. Our scriptures don't speak of such a Paramahamsa." He's telling the devotees who are sitting there. They must have laughed their head out, but whatever it is, he went on talking like this for a long time. And then he said, "Let me tell you what our scriptures say about a Paramahamsa. He is not a Paramahamsa. You are getting fooled." And then he read out some passage from the scriptures. And then by that time it was evening. So he said, "But now it's time for my Sandhya." And so quickly, whatever he had read, he closed it and put his towel on his shoulder, and he went for his bath on the Ganga. He wanted to take a dip and then do his whatever prayers and Sandhya Vandan and come back. Now he stomped out of the room after doing all this. As soon as he went to the ghat and started praying, he went into the Ganga and started praying. He had some kind of a tremendous vision. Now, this incident was recorded by a person who was sitting in Thakur's room. So, we don't actually know the nature of his vision. But immediately the devotees saw in a few minutes, he's running and coming to Thakur's room. They saw this. Running and coming into Thakur's room, and he fell Sashtang Pranam. Thakur was that time in Samadhi. He had gone into deep ecstasy. He was not aware of this Pandit. And now the Pandit fell and, please forgive me, I didn't realize your real nature. I didn't realize your real nature. Please forgive my words. Forgive me, oh Vasudeva, oh Krishna. All this he started. He was actually crying. Please forgive me, Lord. Narayana, I have dared to comment on you. Forgive me, forgive my scriptural studies, forgive my knowledge. All this he started. And then the devotees understood that some great experience he's had. Later on, they have recorded that it was revealed to him that Sri Ramakrishna was none but an avatar. And his consciousness is not the average consciousness of the human being. Huh? And yet you dare to try to, yes, judge him. So the Pandit was transformed. See, I'm telling you, Jnana can be a big trap if you don't have sufficient humility and are not able to digest that knowledge. Knowledge can become a big trap for the mind. Ultimately, it is devotion that works. Even how Shankaracharya defines devotion. He says, Swaswarupa Anusandhanam Bhakti iti uchyate. Devotion will bring even knowledge of the self. And real seeking of the self is bhakti, according to Shankara. So unless it is, you see, knowledge, what we are calling knowledge is only a subset or a section of being. And it is you can say it's like a permeable membrane from knowing to non-knowing. You are making it too big in your head. Being is the essential thing. If knowledge is not leading to being, it can be a huge trap. If there is no awareness and yet you know too many things which are unconnected, that knowledge is dangerous actually. They say no, half knowledge is dangerous. All knowledge is half knowledge, because if there's no, yes, experience and actual first person experience of being, your knowledge is not worth much. It may be great knowledge of the scriptures. So understand the relative value of things. Bhakti, that is why Thakur used to say, it goes into the inner court. Take care of your life through bhakti and make sure your knowledge works towards the highest goal. Otherwise, it can trap you also. So, with this incident, let me end this session. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.